K Lifestyle. Like I told you, I wanted to do a 6-month ownership review on the Nissan Pathfinder. This has been a very good vehicle for us so far, and I wanted to go over some of the likes and dislikes of this vehicle and try to keep it as short as I can. I know you guys got things to do, so do I. It's a very hot day, so I don't really want to spend too much time in this sun unless I'm going to go into the water, which I'm going to try to do later on, but enough of that. So 6-month ownership review. Let's just get right into it. Again, this is the base model. This is the S. So cost-wise, it was not too bad at all, especially for a lease. We got extra miles built into it. And so as far as cost, I'm very satisfied. We already knew we wanted this kind of price point for a vehicle. We wanted something with 3 rows. We wanted something with good towing capacity, something with good fuel mileage. A lot of these big cars, I mean, we looked at like the Tahoe and stuff like that. Now the Tahoe is a nice car, don't get me wrong. I see a few of them driving around, they look great. But you know, they can be gas guzzlers. This thing will do up to 26 miles per gallon on the highway, as long as you're driving reasonable. And with the CVT, it's really not too hard to achieve. There's even some software in there that can help show you right away as to, you know, how you're doing and so forth. So it makes it pretty easy. Again, the look of the car, I mean, just look at it from now. Hopefully the glare is not too bad. I'll throw up a couple other shots if it is. But just the front of it, it looks premium. It looks like you're getting your money's worth for this car. It's not just a lot of great features and so forth. You do roll around town and you feel good about being in this car. The headlights, again, the headlights are good. They're projector beams. But get the LEDs. They're like 30 bucks on Amazon. I feel like everything's 30 bucks on Amazon, right? But yeah, just go find the right fit for this car. They even have plug-and-plays now. You don't need all those computer units and wires that go around. I still, well, I did have them in the Accord and I finally changed them out. Once I got them for the Pathfinder, I was like, yeah, let me just upgrade now. These plug-and-plays are just that. You just pop it right in like any other halogen bulb and you're good to go. And I'll tell you right now, as soon as you do it, it's like night and day. Now, projector beams are great, but if you upgrade to the LEDs, you're gonna get twice as much visibility at least, and it just makes it look even more premium. So in my suggestion, it's a really cheap, really good upgrade to do to the car. You can see we got the crossbars on there. We definitely plan on using that. We have one of those overhead bins, and when we go camping, even for a bigger vehicle like this, you can always find stuff that you need to take with you. So my suggestion is get the crossbars so that you can throw a lot of the stuff up there. I want to say our over storage bin is about 30 cubic feet. I mean, that's about half of the space that you have in the rear. Yeah, I just feel really good. I like the turn signals on the side. It is a big car, so I like people being able to see what you're doing from either side. Again, if you guys have any comments or questions, leave those down below. Everybody knows I get back, and I get back pretty quick too. So if you have any questions about the car or my thoughts, that sort of thing, again, leave it down below and I'll be sure to respond. That's K Lifestyle. Let's go take a look. Had to take a quick Dunkin' break because it is killer out here. It must be like 90 degrees. It's gonna say this is a culotta, but they changed it to a frozen coffee, even though they still sell culottes. Yeah, I know I'm on a little rant here. I just don't understand it, but tastes great. All right, now let's get into the car. I said it before, I'll say it again. These wheels are really nice. Now, I'm not a big stickler for rims anymore. I'm a little older. I care more about practicality and that sort of thing. But, you know, why not have good looking wheels if you can? And these, I think they just look great. It's such a great design. I like the graphite looking material in the middle. You know, these are the kind of wheels I would expect on like a really nice Maxima or something like that. And for a base model, I'm really happy that they came with that. It could have just been something basic and ugly looking and that sort of thing. So thumbs up, Nissan. So one thing you'll notice for the gas tank is it's just bare right here. You expect to just push it and it pops open, but it won't, right? Now I like that. As long as you have the car locked, it will not open that. As soon as you unlock it, see, it popped right open because I had pushed it. But now it's able to open and close. So I like that kind of feature. Nobody's gonna come mess with your gas tank, even though, I mean, most people don't, but there's pranksters out there. So no one's gonna come mess with it until you go to unlock the car when you hop out and go gas up. So I like that feature. Moving on. If we come to the back here, you can see the tail light. I love the way it wraps around the side of the car. I mean, that just makes it, you know, have a lot more depth. They just really look classy. And the backup lights, I'm a stickler for this too. I like really bright backup lights. I think it's important, and these work really great. And then you can see here we got the trim at the bottom, the chrome trim at the bottom for the skid plate. So when you're loading stuff, you know, you don't have any issues like that. I think that's very important. Car like this, you're going to be loading and unloading a lot of things. You know what I mean? So it's important that you can put stuff in here. And I want you guys to see too where I'm standing. I think the load height of this car is pretty good. I mean, I know there's some other cars that are a little lower, maybe like a Forester or something like that. But for a big 3-row crossover like this SUV, I think this load height is perfect. Now I am, you know, almost 6 feet. I'm like 5'10", 5'11". But I think even for a shorter person, this isn't that bad at all. And if you saw on the earlier video, you might have seen it says Rogue down here. We just have this extra mat that we kept from our old lease. We forgot to bring it back with the car. So we just have it back here for extra protection in the back. Just in case that got you confused a little bit. But you can see there are tie down hooks down back here. So if you have heavier stuff that you're bringing back from Home Depot or something like that, you can get one of your tie downs and just strap it down there, and you could be very secure, which I like. There's grocery hooks back here, which I like. And then you got the 12 volt. So if you're, you know, we're blowing up the tube or something at the lake, or, you know, you're hanging out in the back, you got the back of the car open, maybe a cooler back here, you want some music or something, you can use that 12 volt. That's really nice thinking. And I like the fact that even the third row has air vents at the top, and yes, there is air vents at the bottom too that blow on your feet. And then you can see even the back row has 2 cup holders for each side. That's just some really nice features for, you know, the back row. Now I know I've hopped back here for the videos, but I will say I've sat in the second row being driven around, and I have sat in the third row actually, believe it or not. You know, going out to the bars and stuff and just hanging out with everybody. Like, yeah, I'll get back there, you know. I'm not too ashamed to sit back in the third row. And again, it felt really comfortable. This is something that you will actually be able to use. It's not just a third row that's really just primarily for storage. It's definitely usable. And of course, you got your climate control back here. You got vents. And of course, there's vents at the bottom on your feet to blow. And you got 2 USBs, so you can control the air back here. You can charge up your devices. You know, you really can't complain. You definitely can't complain at all, and I really like it. And again, I'll hop in the third row just very briefly and show you this, guys. Again, that lifts up, slide it forward. You have all that space. This big platform is really nice. You can just step on and get right in the back seat. And look at that, tons of room. Of course, even with this right here, sitting behind it, without even moving it, and this is all the way back, my knees barely touch right there. So, you know what I mean? I might not want to do an 18-hour ride in this car with this close, but again, the front seat or the middle seat can push up a little bit, and I'm sure there'll be tons of space and you'll be good to go. Now, this is hard plastic, but I mean, who cares? It's the third row, you know, you're gonna deal with that. You know, at least you got the cup holders and some vents right here, you know, that can blow right on you, and you're not sweating in the back seat like I am now without the air on at all. So I know that's kind of a review of some of the features, and I'm gonna go over some of the tech in the front real quick as well. But I'm pretty impressed with this car. I think it can do a lot of stuff, and that's what you're really looking for when you're getting a big SUV like this. And I know some of the competitors are the Pilot, the Highlander, the Tahoe, things like that, and they all have their good features as well, and we went through all of them. But if you're looking at the Pathfinder, hopefully you find this helpful. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, comments, that kind of thing, leave it down below. SK Lifestyle. I will get back to you. thank you. Please subscribe to SK Lifestyle. I got tons of content, tons of more content coming. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that share button. Appreciate it, guys. And on to the front again to go over a few features and wrap up this 2018 review on the Nissan Pathfinder. Last thing for the exterior, I think they did a really good job with the chrome accenting. It's not too much on there, and everywhere they did it, it's done just right. I love this front grille. It just stands out. Even though it's really big and thick, it's not obnoxious. You can see the little bit of chrome plating down at the bottom, and of course we have it over here on the door handles, which look really nice. Now I will say for the S model, I do kind of wish that I had the keyless entry. Now we have it for the remote. You can just pop it and obviously open up, but I wish we had the little buttons here just to open and close. We used to have that on the Sentra, but that's something obviously you can add on or get when you get to one of the higher models. But yeah, that's nice. And then even some of the rubber molding at the bottom, I feel like they did a really good job blending it in with the car. A lot of cars, it can just look really obnoxious and kind of out of place. The only thing that I did say before on 5 things I hate is the back bumper. Now I think the back bumper molding doesn't look that bad, but again, for putting on the hitches, it's kind of in the way and you have to cut out a little piece at the bottom. I feel like they should know that a big SUV like this, especially 6,000 pounds towing capacity, you know, I've said this plenty of times, it's amazing. They should know that people are going to put plenty of hitches on these things, and they should already just have the cutout there ready to go for the hitch. So that's one gripe I do have. Now let's go take a look on the inside. All right, so I said it before, I'll say it again. These seats are very comfortable. I know when I first did the video, it's kind of like you get in any new car and it's like, oh yeah, this is nice and so forth. No, these seats are very comfortable. They're great for long rides. I just can't say enough about it. For a base trim with just cloth and some kind of other textured material here, which kind of helps keep you in the seat a little more, I would assume too. It's just really nice. I love being in these seats. Just the posture of it, being in an SUV, getting to sit upright more like you're actually in a real chair is a very nice thing. And it's just comfortable. And then they got all these leather touches around and soft touch material that just makes it feel very premium, especially for a base model car. I definitely like it, and I'm sure some of the other leather trims when you get higher up are even just more phenomenal. So I definitely feel good about that. One other thing that one of my friends pointed out in a comment was this thing has crazy cup holders. There's 2 right here, there's 1 on either side, there's like at least 4 or 6 in the middle seat, and then 2 more in the back. You're just loaded for cup holders, and they come in handy. Sometimes you're not always putting cups in it. You know, sometimes it's your phone or something else you can just drop in. I like that. They got these little map pockets on either side down here, right in the center console, and it's great for, you know, if you're charging up your phone, you can put it right there and just have it on the side and grab it real easy. It's nice. Or sometimes you got little things you got to hang in the mirror, like, you know, for parking or something. You can throw it down there when you don't need it, kind of like handicap sticker or sign or something like that. Nice stuff. And it just feels really nice in here. There's tons of room in every row. I said that in the first video and I'll say it again, but I think most people, you're going to be pretty fine in here. And I think even bigger people, you'll be okay. It's just like if you want to load up the back 2 rows with a ton of people, then maybe you do need that extra little bit of space. But I think for the majority, you're going to be very satisfied with what you get for space inside of the Pathfinder. Yeah, let's move on to a couple other key details of this car, and that's going to be some of the features of the towing. Now, like I said, 6,000 pounds towing capacity, and they make it very easy to tow with the tow feature. We've used it a lot, towing the jet ski, towing the camper. It takes a lot of the thinking and work out of it for you, and it makes, you know, taking off and braking a little easier. And I like just having that little bit of safety in mind. Now, the hill descent mode, you will definitely notice, especially if you're towing something and you're going down some steep hills, it definitely holds the RPMs a little more. It can tell when you're braking and not let the car just float freely as it normally would, especially with the CVT. So that thing is really great, and it can take a lot of the pressure off, because if you're going down a hill real fast with a lot of weight behind you and something's going to stop right in front of you quick, or a kid's going to jet out in the street, you want to be able to come to a stop safely, and that definitely gives you a little bit more control. And I like the way it's built into the switch down here. And yeah, so you can select the 2-wheel drive, the auto, or the 4-wheel lock. And I like that. It's built in really nice. It's built into this whole shift lever area really nicely. I like that. It's packaged really well. And I like the tow modes down here, and it clicks on right away. There's no, you have to be at a stop for it to work or anything. We've been towing down the street and like, oh yeah, we're towing, let's throw on the tow mode. Click it, comes right on. So I like that. That's really good thinking, and that's how things should work, right? Especially in a higher end car like this. You know what I mean? It's not some little $15,000 budget car or something, so it's nice to have stuff like that. So the layout of the dash is really nice. I don't have amazing eyesight, but it's pretty good. Everything is very visible, even without my glasses on. Of course, who wouldn't love a bigger LCD screen in the middle, but I think this is pretty sufficient. Just to point out, when you have on the tow mode, I don't know, oh yeah, you can see it pop on there. Usually the RPM will kind of sit around there when you're driving around town a lot. So once in a while I throw it on and I'm like, oh, is tow mode on? And I gotta wait for the RPM to drop before I really see it on there. So that said, the dash looks really nice. I really appreciate that. Again, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are really something that this car should have, and I really wish that it did have. So that's definitely one draw of this car. I think it's really important, especially if you don't have navigation and stuff. I mean, of course, you know, everyone has these little things. You just hook your phone up and you're using Google Maps. But we should just be able to use it right through here, especially with this kind of infotainment system and the screen and so forth. It would be great just to mirror my phone right to it. One other thing with the air, what's crazy is if you press this, you can see that when I pressed it, it put the rear on. That actually makes the air blow out more, like twice as much. One complaint I had about this car was that the air, even all the way up, seemed like it wasn't blowing out that hard. Like even our Rogue blew out air harder than that. And then I finally found this button and I'm like, oh, it blows out air more. But you can see it says on off. So I guess when the button is on, that means, or when the light's there, that means it's on for the rear. But what's weird is, you would think if it's blowing out air to the rest of the car as well, that you would get less pressure, less force from the air system. But in fact, when you press it and the rear comes on, it forces out air even harder. So I find that when I'm up front, if I want to get cold quick because it's so hot out and I want the AC on, I'm turning on the air for the rest of the car just so that it pumps out harder. And that's one kind of gripe that I have. I don't really get that. I find like Nissans always have kind of quirks. Like our old Rogue, whenever we turned it on for air for the front, like for the top and for the legs or whatever, it would always turn the AC on. Even if you had the heat, even if you had to turn towards the heat, it would always just put the AC on no matter what. And that was a kind of weird feature. It was kind of quirky like that, and I feel like this is the same thing. It's certainly not as bad, but it's definitely a quirky feature where you have to turn on air to the rest of the car in order for it to blow twice as hard. And this thing has, again, you can see our average fuel economy is 20.7 in this car, and that's really not bad. And it has a pretty good range too, about 400 miles almost with a full tank of gas. So you know, you can go pretty far in this car. And that's pretty nice, especially we always have it in auto. If you put it in 2-wheel drive and you leave it in 2-wheel drive, you'll definitely see a gain of like an extra mile, maybe 2 miles per gallon. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I went over some of the features again, some of my thoughts. Overall, 0 of 10 for this car, my rating would be an 8. There's definitely a few other features that I definitely think it's missing, even for a base model. This is a pretty expensive SUV. I think they could afford to put it in there, especially with how much Nissan is just killing it with sales. There's no reason why they can't add the phone, the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you know, making that sure that the hitch is just ready to go in right away rather than having that big bumper that has to be adjusted and so forth and cut out depending on you know, what you're putting in there and so forth. and a few other little things. I have a couple of gripes, but overall I'm very satisfied with this car. For owning it for 6 months, driving it around, you can see we have 5,372 miles on the car. So we've put a good amount of miles on the car so far, and I can say that I love it. I know my wife loves this car. She loves being in it. She loves being up high, and she loves all the room, and you know, it just drives really well. It drives really well. It's a big car. It's a big car, but it doesn't feel too much bigger than the road when you're moving around. It's very agile. The steering, of course, it's, you know, electric power steering. Sorry, that's just our camera for the mirror. It's electric power steering. It's very light, but you can definitely feel what's going on with the road. It's not too bad. And there's a lot of power with this car. So there's no concern about having to jump out and, you know, get out into the road if cars are coming or something like that or whatnot, or speeding around another car to get around them, that sort of thing. Even with the trailer behind it, you're gonna do all right. So that said, I really have a good feeling about this car. I'm definitely eager to have it for the next 2 years. Some cars, you have it for 6 months or so, or maybe a year, and you're like, man, I'm ready to just switch already. This car, I don't know, maybe not so much, depending on some of the new features they come out with. Again, one of the other things is I wish that it did have all of the driver assist technology. Just like the Highlander, they offer it in every single model, whether you're getting the base model or not. I think Nissan should do the same thing. I think they should take that cue and they should do the same here. But I do like the fact that there is the auto brake feature, and it also warns you as well. It doesn't just start braking right away, it warns you before. I don't even know if we've had it kick on yet where it had to brake for us, because the warning is enough, and it's not too bad. I think you can adjust the setting, but even how it is came from the factory. It goes on every once in a while when a car like pulls out or something, and it's just a good warning, gives you a heads up. And I definitely like that feature, but I wish we had all the other stuff as well. And yes, we could have upgraded, we could have paid more for it, but again, I just think this day and age, safety is everything. I think these automakers should just be including it, and I'm sure coming soon just about every car is. I think I even saw that the Altimas now, every one of them is coming with those driver assist tech. So that said, I know I rambled on a little bit more than I wanted to. Hopefully I can cut down the video a little bit so you guys can get more of your day to yourselves, and you're not sitting here having to watch this long drawn out review. Again, if you have any questions or comments, let me know. What are your thoughts about the car? Do you own it, or do you want to get it? That sort of thing. Did you get another car over the Pathfinder, and why? You know what I mean? Let me know what's up, what your thoughts are. That said, I appreciate your time, guys. Please, again, subscribe to SK Lifestyle. I appreciate everyone that is subscribing. We hit over 300 subscribers about a week ago, and I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate all the comments you guys are giving. And that said, I hope you guys know the motto: Carpe Diem, be thankful, and strive for happiness, guys. So that said, SK Lifestyle here with the 2018 Nissan Pathfinder 6-month ownership review. Appreciate your time. See you guys later.